It was quite a lot of wind and I was scared, but it was really fun. And afterwards we were hooked, I think.
Yeah, we were hooked. Like the team thing, that's what it's all about, I think.
Yes.
That's how we just, got hooked. I really enjoyed that part.
Welcome to the Low Tide Boys, a Swimrun podcast. I'm Chip.
I'm Chris, and this is episode 161 of the show. First, before we do anything,
Very important announcement.
Happy Swimrun Christmas to everyone that was vying for a slot for the 2023 ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship. I haven't, got it a little more. I feel like I can do it, but I just kind of save it because it's just, gives people something to talk about, complain about.
Yeah. We got to give people something to talk about, so we mispronounce all of our Swedish words.
So let me be the first to say, congratulations, Chipper.
Oh,
Looks like we're doing this again.
I can't wait. Can't wait to get back there. What was that? What movie was that? I was like, just when I got out, they brought me right back. Godfather. Yeah. Similar situation, feeling.
Yeah. Well,
it is also February, Chris.
Yeah.
What happens in February around here?
Yeah, we're officially kicking off the third edition of Partners Month, wherein we highlight one of our favorite aspects of swimrun, teams. We know there's solo categories, but hey, the sport started with team categories, and we just think it's so cool, and it's kind of a little tie-in to Valentine's Day, all this stuff. So here we go, third edition. First up this month are Annika Westin and Marie Anderzén, A.K.A. Team Strömgren. Nice. We've been following these ladies because they've been on our Strava Club for a super long time, like basically since the beginning. Mm-hmm. And we're lucky enough to finally meet them last year in Sweden. So it was really cool to sit down with them, get their swimrun origin story. The whole thing was a good chat.
It was
perfect way to kick off this month.
It's great, and we like to feature the spectrum of partners, people that maybe they're literal life partners as well. They live together. Maybe they have never met before. Maybe whatever the situation is. We like to bring it all to showcase everything that partners.
Yeah, maybe they're
offer.
both school principals.
Spoiler alert. But first, training update. The base building continues, and Chris's existential dread from not being able to swim for another month is causing him anxiety.
It is.
I will put a statement from me. I have released Chris of this feeling. I have told him I have zero concerns, but I do understand where you're at because it's the same way I feel when I see you go run off and do crazy stuff, and I'm like
run
Chris
off
is just running away from me.
You're watching me.
I'm watching him literally on Strava run away further away from me. So we both have our anxiety-inducing sports, but despite that, we're looking forward to training more together on land when Chris is ready to get back in the water in some liquid. But we've been having a couple good run sessions together.
Yeah,
fun. Get the boys back together.
We took. I think I a little bit like subconsciously, but we kind of took a break from each other.
Yeah, I think it's healthy.
Yeah, it's like I was only texting you maybe like 100 times a day
rather than 300.
Yeah.
But I think that's great that you brought that up because I have also kind of felt that. And I will say I have felt more energized when we do hang out and we do, like Chris, we're joking 100 times. We're obviously still conversing
we still got
throughout
show.
the day, no problem. But like workouts and stuff, I find it allows me to bring a little bit more energy. And it's like, oh, cool. Probably because I have things to tell you.
Yeah.
Rather than just talking to you all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
24/7, but...
Yeah, and we did one of the most beautiful trails in California. Say America, Yolanda Trail. If you don't know what I'm talking about, send us a DM. I'll pepper you with photography.
We should go back there. That was a nice little ass kicker to start, and then some nice flowy zone twos.
A little bit of everything.
It was good. So we'll be back there in no time. But on to this week's shout-outs.
All right, so our shout-out this week goes out to the country of Switzerland, including their cows. They recently cracked our top 10 list for downloads by country, and we're here for it. Nice. Hopefully, we'll be there for it.
Ooh.
See what I did there? Quotes. In Engadin in 2014, which is in Switzerland.
That's true.
Hence that entire bit.
I love it. Shout out. Completed. On to our newest segment, Wisdom Nugget of the Week.
Yes.
This is from one Mark Allen.
Yeah.
Rest is honoring your body and its need to repair physically. It is also essential for you recharging your emotional and spiritual batteries. It is the partner to work. When joined together, these two powerful forces create magnificence in life. The more you know.
Yeah.
This ties in right to what we were saying about our break.
Yeah, I know, dude.
We
it's
were
almost
honoring.
Like, it's almost like I did research. I
It's
just
almost
found
like
it.
it
worked out. But
we did something. Like we know what we're doing around here. Yeah, we're honoring our repair. That we need.
And I think if you listen to way back when Brad Stolberg was on the show, growth equation, rest plus stress equals growth. So if you're not resting, you're not growing, you're not repairing. And what I love about this quote. It's like, we talk about like working out physical, but the emotional, and I think for swimrun in particular, sort of the spiritual batteries of like the whole vibe, you got to recharge that stuff.
Absolutely. And the ultimate spiritual battery application is ÖTILLÖ.
I think so.
That's all I have to say about that. Yeah. On to this week's Feats of Endurance. This week's winner is our good friend and previous guest, one of the Concho Boys, Anderzén. He posted a magical snow running adventure from his native Boulder, and it looked, snowy and magical. Keep up the good work. Check out the Concho Boys interview from last year's Partners Month, episode 110 of the show. You hear about John and Anderzén, how they formed up to be the Concho Boys. And if you've done any races with the Low Tide Boys last year, good chance. Good chance the Concho Boys were also in tow.
Yeah.
So be sure, we found this on our Strava Club. So go to Strava. If you're still paying for the premium, good for you. Go search Low Tide Boys, join our club. We have over 500 folks in there now. Dole out kudos, receive the kudos, see us doing some resting, recharging those batteries, putting the work in, all sorts of stuff on Strava. Now, for This Week in Swimrun.
All right, well, everyone, there's really only one piece of news for the week, and that is the results of the ÖTILLÖ ranking selection for this year's Swimrun World Championship, which were announced today at the release of this podcast. Congratulations to everyone that qualified. For those that just missed out, don't lose heart.
Yeah.
We've heard a bunch of stories of teams getting a call or an email for a slot opening up for them as late as like July or August. In fact, I think it was like almost middle of August, one of the teams like Pepe, who's been, OG fan on Instagram for a super long time. Like, he just got a slot like a couple weeks before. So,
and even remember the case we talked to them after ÖTILLÖ, literally the day before they got their entry.
Crazy.
Because some partners switching around.
Yeah. So, don't lose faith. If you're thinking about ÖTILLÖ, nervous about it, we have a bunch of shows. You can just basically, just live through our nerves from last year for it. So then you won't have them. But in meme news, there'll be a lot of memes posted to the LTBZ account today. So head over there for all the hilarity.
And the realness.
Yes. It's real.
It
gets real. And finally, you want to join us for a great tune-up race for ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship? Then sign up for Odyssey Casco Bay, which is happening on July 9th. For our European listeners, especially you guys in Switzerland, just cracked the top 10.
Nice.
Consider this our invitation to you to plan a trip to America and experience the best. Dare I say, I'm just going to say it.
It is.
I'm speaking for you, Chipper.
You can.
The best that U.S. swim running has to offer. Casco Bay is an awesome race. We love it. We'll be there. And if you're there, you'll be able to participate in a post-race party hosted by a certain team whose name ends in a Z.
That's us. We're the team. That's us.
That's
Boys with a Z.
So we really want to get a bunch of people from Europe over to Casco. I think everyone will have a really great time, guarantee it. So look into it. We'd love to see you. That's it for this week. Reach out to us if there's any swimrun news that you'd like for us to share on the show.
Absolutely. Now for a little bit of show business. So Partners Month is being supported by our friends at Precision Fuel and Hydration. Couldn't be more excited. Excited to be working with them again. We've been using their products for years, and we swear by them. Their website is a wealth of information on all things hydration, fueling, and training. And they even offer free consultations with their nutritionist to help you dial in your plans for your upcoming events. You want to see what all the fuss is about? They just kicked over their new code for this year for us, Low Tide 23. Low Tide 23. That'll save you 15% off your first order. There's also a link in the show notes, and it will take you to a specific website page to order through there, and that way we get the credit, if you will. But I have just been loving the work that we've been doing with Precision Fuel and Hydration, and I feel like last year was a huge foundational piece for speaking for me about understanding my needs in terms of how many carbs per hours and milligrams of salt and sodium and things like that. And now this year I'm like, I got this nice knowledge. I can't wait to build off of it and kind of take it to the next level. And it feels like, we're playing with the cheat codes when we got Team PFH on our side. So really looking forward to working more with them, and obviously tapping their wealth of knowledge to bring some great content around fueling and hydration for you all.
Yeah, we'll be doing some stuff with them, some YouTube stuff. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, I'll just echo everything Chipper says. I mean, just to add to that, I just feel lucky.
I mean, super fortunate. Like it's for sure. I was getting in. They also have a pretty solid YouTube account. They got some great videos on how to fuel different things beyond just swim runs. I know there's people that are doing cross-country skiing races, ultra marathons, cycling, triathlon, whatever. They got a plan for you there. So be sure to check them out. Low Tide 23 saves you 15% off your order there.
First order. So you all know what to do. We don't need to tell people this again.
Yeah, just make sure it's your first order.
Yeah.
With an email address.
That's right.
Anyway. On to our conversation with Annika and Marie.
Yeah, so it was super fun to chat with them. We got to chat to them really briefly when we were in Sweden, and we were like, "Oh, so great!" It was a total like love
like
fest.
A 5-minute.
So nice to see you. It's like we gotta go. You gotta go too. So it took a few months, but we managed to get them on the show and basically get their swim and origin story and talk about their adventures as a team. I think we just love their enthusiasm, and really think that people are going to get some wisdom nuggets, for lack of a better phrase, from their approach as a team, how they communicate, how they basically partner up. I mean, they're true partners, and it shows in their race results. It shows in the joy and fun that they have. And this is like, if you have partner aspiration goals, you could do much, much worse than freaking trying to be like them.
Annika and Marie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love the conversation we had with them, and what I really enjoy about all these different episodes, you see everyone's different perspective on how their partnership works, things that work, things that don't, how they understand each other. And it's just really useful knowledge and data points. I like to kind of hear about that, but obviously their relationship goes beyond swim running, but it does sort of bond them, as you'll probably hear throughout the whole month.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I'll say, and then just, people, it won't spoil it, but I think a lot of people are intimidated coming to swim run if they weren't like a natural swimmer or didn't grow up swimming. I mean, if anything, this is just yet another example on how you can be an adult swimmer and participate in swim run and have a great time and have a great experience. So
absolutely.
Last little thing to drop there.
It's a good nugget. So without further ado, let's just jump right in through our chat with Annika and Marie.
All right, well, we're kicking off Partners Month, 3rd edition, year 2023. We're super, super stoked to welcome Team Strömgren, Annika Westin, and Marie Anderzén. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We feel honored to be on your show.
Well, we're honored that you came on.
Absolutely.
We've been following you guys pretty much since you joined our Strava Club, which was a long time ago, and just seeing your exploits and giving kudos back and forth and stuff. And we got to meet you in person last September, which was super fun. But before we talk about world championships and stuff like that, let's go all the way back to the beginning. How did you guys meet? Annika, I know you're a super experienced swim runner. Seems to me like maybe you're the one who brought Marie into the fold. But why don't you tell us your origin story as a team?
Yeah.
We've been friends. We are colleagues, and we are friends, and our daughters are friends. So we spend a lot of time together.
Exactly.
So we knew each other from work, and I knew that Marie was she was an old swimmer. So I needed, when I was pregnant with my second child, I needed a goal, something to work for. So I asked her, I think, if I learn to swim, will you do a swim run with me? So that was it. So
yeah. I mean, we had one of our colleagues is one of the pioneers of swimrun.
Wow.
Ola Lagerström, and he inspired us a lot with the swimrun thing. And I don't know, I hadn't heard about it before, and then we just started swimming together, and I sort of picked up swimming again after 20 years of pause. But then, that's how it was. And we just struggled a little in the pool, and then just decided to set a goal to attend the swim run in 2016, I think.
Yeah, so we started doing swim run at the same time. But then you were injured, sort of.
Yeah.
In 2017 was supposed to be our first, real season with a long race, but you were injured.
Yeah,
right?
I had some troubles with, I think it was a runner's knee or something like that. So then, and I did some swim runs with my sister, and then you did a few races with another partner.
Yes.
So
that we don't need to talk about that. We're talking about you.
We don't need to go deep into everyone's past here.
That's how it's been.
And so you do your first swim run. Did you guys look at each other and you're like, all right, this is something special, or how did that first experience go?
Yeah, you go ahead.
When
I think this might be good. I'm ready for this one.
When I had survived the first swims, then it was super fun. I was really afraid. The swimming was a big struggle for me. It took a long time learning that. And I was really scared the first race.
Yeah.
It was quite windy. It was a short race in Sigtuna, north of Stockholm, but it was quite a lot of wind and I was scared, but it was really fun. And afterwards we were hooked, I think.
Yeah, we were hooked. The team thing, I mean, being a former swimmer and maybe attending a few running races and other sports. I mean, the team thing that's what it's all about, I think.
Yes.
So I think that's how we just, got hooked. I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah, and it sounded like you two have great, how Chris and I sort of position it, like we're each other's accountability partners. We try to swim, or we try to do a lot of our workouts together because we're sort of in a similar position. We don't work together, but we're neighbors and our kids are in the same class and all this stuff. So we're high frequency between Chris and I, if you haven't noticed, anybody. But yeah, it's the thing. If I can't make the swim in the morning, I know Chris is there and he knows that he can depend on me, that I'm going to go get the work done, or that I'll go get the run in later if we're not knocking it out together. And it sounds like you too. That's sort of how your team blossomed.
Yeah, I mean, we've been colleagues for quite some time too, and there are some other colleagues too that we try to work out with, and it's like a sport is a big interest, and I think the working out together, finding, looking for that extra minutes where you can squeeze in a workout or something. Yeah. That's how we do it. And then we attend like a regular swim training twice a week. So that's when, I mean, even though we're colleagues, we don't see each other that much during the days. And it's like, hey, have you also been in this school all day? And then we just meet at the pool. that's how it is sometimes.
Yeah. Are your other colleagues like, Annika, Marie, they're just doing world championships and stuff, like no big deal? Did you show up this year with the big plate that
your
ÖTILLÖ, just like put that right on your desk?
No, but one Ola, our colleague that inspired us to start Swimrun, he's done ÖTILLÖ 4 times, I think.
Wow!
So we've done it the same years 2 times. Also, so it's a big. I think that Monday of September, a lot of people at work are involved in watching
That's
the.
So awesome.
Love it.
That's awesome. I don't know if it's just one of the many differences between Sweden and America, but whenever I'm relaying what Swimrun is to people or telling them about it, they're just looking at me like, this person has problems that he's doing this stuff to himself. And then you guys are like, oh yeah, let's do it together. And then other coworkers join in, and then they start watching. I mean, it's just so awesome, the community rallying behind you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it's like, you did what now? Where? Really? Oh, how Sweden? Oh, it was great. It was fantastic. Thanks for asking, But so you do your first swim run, you survive it, you get hooked. And that kind of starts a streak of, you guys have done world championships, you've done a bunch of races, you've won races. Tell us a little bit of how you progressed in the sport, because it's pretty cool to see.
Thank you. Yeah. Do you want to?
Yeah, you probably didn't feel like on that first really choppy, windy run that you would be doing ÖTILLÖ multiple times. I would imagine. No,
I remember we actually were, you referred to that sometimes, that we were running and we were talking about ÖTILLÖ and how crazy it seemed to be. I did Ute in 2017, and that felt really, really long. And I thought I could never do anything as long as that. And but late that summer, a friend of ours, Elin, she got one of those extra spots. So she reached out to me and asked me, do you want to do ÖTILLÖ with me? So I just had to try, and we survived. It was that stormy year, so I was really scared. None of us were.
Did she have to join your company as well? Do you guys have to work together to race together, or okay? Just checking. I just, it seemed like a thing over there.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was it, and I think we both we are. I think we both enjoy the long races. So there's been quite a lot of the World Series distances.
Yeah, and I think because we were in like one of the longer races was in Cannes 2019. Was that the first time in Cannes?
Yeah, yes. That seems to be a favorite for you two.
Yeah, yes. We've been there 4 times.
4 times.
Yeah, it's a nice getaway too, in the fall. So yeah, and I think that was when our teamwork really felt like we had something there. So you're like a diesel machine, just going stronger further in the race. In the further you go in the race, and then I can take control of the swims, I think, and just be in charge of that. And I think that's the combination of our strengths is just make the team even stronger. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
and we have a lot of fun as well. So that's part of the race too, and just enjoying. We don't. I mean, nowadays we don't have to talk that much. Like we know when.
Yeah.
When one is a little bit low, perhaps, or need to push forward, and the other one can just step up a little. So the teamwork is.
Let me dig down a little bit deeper there. So you said that was kind of the race where everything kind of came together. Can you give us so it seems like everything started clicking. Tell me a little bit more about what was it about the partnership at that event that kind of made you feel like, okay, this is we really have a good thing going here.
I mean, Cannes in 2019 was quite stormy as well.
Yes.
There were big swells, and just they had to redo parts of the course because it was really windy and strong currents and stuff. And when you meet the natural struggles, the when it's sort of testing you, I think you have to step it up a little, and some of the weaknesses and challenges might be on spotlight, or how would you say it?
Yeah, so magnified
like that. And I think when it's tough, the team steps up, and that's how I felt like we could do this together. It's not alone. We're a team. We push forward and just keep going. And I also think we got a spot for ÖTILLÖ. You already had one, but we sort of qualified 2019 for the coming year. So I felt that it could be possible, to do the big one eventually. So that was also like what came out of Cannes 2019, I think.
Yes, and that was maybe also the year when we started we've done a lot of races together, small local races and World Series races, but maybe after that race, we also started competing more than just doing races.
Yeah.
More focused, I think.
Yes.
Was that something that you all sort of discussed, or it just kind of naturally happened and you got a little bit of taste of, what it's like to race and volley back and forth with teams, and you liked that aspect of the racing, or it's just you both kind of felt that was the next step that you wanted to take?
I think we like that part of the racing, and also the last 2 years there's been so many strong female teams that are also very equal on the starting line, so that's been very fun. You know that there's always someone behind you, and there's always someone quite close up ahead that you could maybe reach if you don't lose it.
You could just hold on.
I mean, so for the coming year, I think we just set a goal and wanted to qualify and be a little bit more competitive, I think. So, and that's, we managed to qualify in the coming year, but then ÖTILLÖ didn't happen. And then,
right. Yeah. Then it's like,
so for 2021.
Yeah. But one race did happen in 2020 for you guys, which was Cannes again, and you guys won it. So what was that like? I mean, thinking, your first race years before, you're scared of the weather and the swims, and now you're basically winning a World Series race. I mean, what was that like?
That was a very special race because we had company with the second female team all up until the second last swim, I think.
Oh, wow.
So we were running and swimming together for, 40 kilometers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got full on of the race experience. This is what you wanted. Here you go.
And I don't know. I think we both thought that they were going to outrun us at one of the long runs, but they didn't. So, and then there is a long swim towards the end, and the swimming is we like the swims nowadays. We do.
Yeah. It was a special year because people were quite nervous with the COVID going on, and there was lots of restrictions and regulations on traveling, and we just decided to travel, even though it was a little bit uncertain. But I mean, that was a great experience, of course. So stepping up on the podium and because we pushed ourselves quite hard in the end, I'd say.
Yeah.
We had a good day. We had a fun day together with Jenny and Josephine too, because they were competing against us.
And Cannes is really a favorite place. You should go there. It's really nice.
Oh,
it's on sort of. It's near the top for
sure.
Our
list. I mean, given from California to Europe is a little bit of a haul, especially with having young kids at home. But I think I've convinced Chipper to do the double, do Cannes one weekend and then do Côte d'Azur the following weekend, sort of up the coast. I think that'd be super fun.
I did take one of those DNA tests, and I am part French.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
So maybe I can get in easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
Cannes
think
is
they'll
also
take it.
a race course that suits us very well. There's a lot of swims, long swims, and the running isn't that technical. We're not really good technical runners. We prefer the easy runs, I think. So Cannes is perfect for us.
Yeah, and
it's
it's the total opposite. Also, when you've been in the archipelago in September and going to Cannes in October is just very different, and it's a great contrast.
Nice and warm
that's
and not slippery.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's one of the great things about swimrun. I mean, there's so many different ways to do it, and so many different environments that you can explore. I mean, I can appreciate why Cannes would have a special place in your heart for sure. Is there another race outside of Cannes and maybe like the World Championship where you're like, this is another special event that you guys really love to do?
We've done quite a few, smaller like local races around Sweden. And I mean, I'd say one of my favorite races is one of a little bit further up north. It's no longer going on, but it's called Skärgårdsutmaningen, which was in Söderhamn, where it's also quite close to my summer house. But that was it's nice. It's a nice archipelago up there. In Sweden, but other races like we did Borås this summer. I think that was a fun race
is
too.
Nice. Yes, that's nice.
Going up and down numerous hills.
Yeah,
I think Jonas Kolting just made it
diabolical.
Of course, but it's quite hilly. Other races like there's a local one here. I did that with my sister this summer. It's called A.K.A. Swimrun. It's also a fun race.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what other races would you recommend, Annika?
I don't know. There's plenty.
Yeah.
You all are too spoiled over there. We only got like 6 races in the United States.
I mean, coming back to Cannes is nice because it's familiar in a sense, but also I really like trying out new races and new race courses because it's just the exploring is a part of the swimrun too, I think.
Yeah.
Now like diving into your partnership a little bit, you've had a couple really sort of formative races, it sounds like, with tumultuous weather and really challenges. What is it about maybe those early races, were those kind of foundational in concreting your partnership about, hey, you really saw that Marie can really push and lead the swims for you, and that Annika was really she's the best partner for me. Like how has your partnership evolved over the years from when you first started?
That's a difficult question. I don't know. Everything just runs smoother every race. We don't need to talk much, as Marie said. The transitions, we know what to do, and I know what side of Marie she wants me to go to pass her on when we get out of the water, and we know that.
Every 30 minutes, we should eat something.
Yes, we don't.
We don't talk. She said, "Okay, it's my turn." I just grab something out of my bra and gives her.
Yes, share the energy.
You share nutrition. You share fuel across both of you. That's a good idea.
Use
Chris,
those.
can you? Sure.
So yeah,
what's a good tip?
Yeah. And I don't know. Marie is in charge of the swimming, and I'm in charge of the running, and. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to describe. We don't talk that much. We just do our best. And I know that Marie likes to be cheered on a bit when she's tired, and she knows that I'm really quiet and don't say much.
Well, I'd say, there have been 2 races where it's been quite challenging for 2021 ÖTILLÖ. I didn't do that much of a running beforehand because I had some troubles with my heels, and during the end of Ornö, I was in deep pain. I struggled a lot, and it felt like you carried me in the end of the race. And I mean, I felt a lot of gratitude for being your partner in the end of the race. And I hope maybe during ÖTILLÖ in 2022 when it was that
super cold,
cold, like we had quite a struggle in the end. And I mean, those Järnholmen and the last islands, you struggled quite a bit.
Yes, I really lost it.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried because you were sort of lost. Like I had to push you quite hard, and I punched you with it. You know, my pad. That was quite tough. Like we had to dig it quite deep. I punched you with the paddles and just, come on, let's go. You know, put it together.
Yeah, so a little kick in the pants, sort of.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you were, that was not beautiful.
Well, and for everyone listening at home, we have to throw a little bit of grain of salt. So when they say struggling, they're still doing sort of sub 10 hours at the World Championship and coming in 5th place in the women's division in ÖTILLÖ when it was super cold. So struggling, yet still putting together some amazing performances. You know, one thing that you guys mentioned, which I love, is sort of like the trust that you have in each other. Like, you're obviously very familiar with each other, you know each other, but it seems like there's just this inherent trust between you guys where you know that you can count on the other person to sort of help you when you're down, and kind of knowing sort of the signals that you have. And I'm curious, you know, you mentioned that you don't communicate a lot, but it sounds like everybody knows what's going on.
There's enough unspoken communication that you don't need to.
Is that how you guys feel, where it's like, well, we don't really need to talk because I know how Annika's feeling, I know what Marie needs, kind of thing? Is that how you guys would see it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it becomes very obvious, I think, when you've done a lot of races with one person, as we have, and you know each other really, really well, and know that when it's tough, someone is there for me, and I know that she won't get angry with me if I fail or get tired.
No.
And when you do a race with someone that you've not done that many races with, it becomes very obvious that the teamwork is important, for the not only to have it's important for the results as well and your time, because you become so much more efficient, I think, if you know each other and help each other, and everything works, the energy stations, the transitions, all those small parts of swimrun, and it's just comfortable knowing the person very well. I think so
when we've done some of the practices beforehand, I tend to talk a little bit about the mental struggles and for example, running really the tricky trails during the ÖTILLÖ. That's one of my challenging, like it's also a mental challenge. I feel really slow when running those tricky islands, and we talk about that and how it feels. You know, now I got that feeling, and just having someone being aware of the feelings that you might struggle with, you can also relax a little bit better and rely on somebody else.
Yeah,
and
you don't have to carry that by yourself.
Yeah.
And the swims, I still struggle with the swimming, especially the first swim on every race. I tend to panic sometimes and get trouble with my breathing. So Marie knows that it's important for me to not get stuck in that among all the other teams. So we need some free water. So she knows that, and she always finds a way through the water that makes me comfortable and able to do the swim good.
Thank you.
We help each other.
Yes. You know, that's similar to me. Like, I'm usually pretty nervous before a race until after the transition out of the first swim. Once the first swim, you know, usually a run and then a swim, once that's done, it's like, oh yeah, I remember how to do this.
Like, oh
yeah. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do just the first part of the course, and then you're sort of in the mood.
Yeah, it melts like anything away as well. Chris and I are both the same way about that. Like, you know, jittery, nervous before the race. I think a good level of it, but then, you know, right after that first one, it's like, oh yeah, let's go. Now we're having fun.
Yeah, we've done this a ton of times.
Yeah. We know we've had enough reps. We know what to do here.
So I want to ask you guys. This is a very self-serving question for us. So we did our first Swimrun World Championship last year with you guys, which was really awesome to see you before the race.
Yes.
And we put in for the ranking again, which we think we have a good chance. We'll find out on Swimrun Christmas, February 2nd here coming up.
Yeah.
From the time of recording. And I'm curious. So from your first World Championship experience to your second World Championship experience, is there anything that you can tell us that we should be mindful of?
We're starting on our homework for this year officially right now.
Yeah, I mean, because I can imagine, you know, just from our perspective, just like having done the race once, you know, you understand the course, you kind of open-eyed, you know what you're going to get into when you're going back. But I'm curious, from like a tactical perspective, did you guys approach the race differently? I mean, your times have been coming down every year. Some of that has to do with great weather and things like that, but I mean, it's pretty consistent improvement year over year at the World Championships. I'm curious if you have any sort of advice for us or anyone who's sort of going back for another bite of that apple.
I think it was very useful. We sat down and we looked at the different parts of the course between the different timings, and so and compared to teams that are equal to us, what parts of the course was our strong parts, and what parts were the weak parts. And we had some it was obvious what parts of the course we could improve a lot without necessarily being stronger or faster. We were just really bad at those parts. So we focused on not just, I don't know, being so...
Yeah, because
we focused on the parts between Rundmare Nämndö and the last islands after Uno. We knew that we were too slow. We were slower than we were supposed to be last year, so we focused on those parts.
Yeah, and I mean, we watched the race of what's it called, like the not race briefing, but
the hype video
that Nicolas Ramirez has done, the video where you sort of go through the race course. I mean, we watched that numerous times and just okay, this is the part where we could improve time wise. So I think
just stepping up the pace a bit on those islands that were our weak parts, that made a huge difference. But also, of course, the running, you were injured the summer before our first ÖTILLÖ.
Run a lot more than you think you need during the summer.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely feel that a little bit. I mean, the way we're already thinking about it is like, for when we went last year, we were like, all right, once we get to Orna, we're good, we're home free. But I think after doing the race, it's like, no. You're home free once you're
cross the finish line.
Once you cross the finish line for sure. But once you're past Orna, like you can't let out mentally thinking it's like, oh, now it's just like the 20-kilometer run. It's like, no worries. Like we just run for a bit. Like that was actually more challenging than we thought it was going to be. But I think that advice is well taken. It's like, you know, the course isn't changing. It's like you can't turn yourself into a completely different person. So what are the parts where there were some weaknesses, and where can you shore up on that stuff? And I think we're definitely already thinking like we need to be running, sort of show up to the race like we're more of like ultra marathon sort of level of running fitness.
Good endurance in the legs.
I think it's like it became more obvious for me we did that for me the first year, but also the second year, like divide the course into different parts and focusing on, okay, this part we should keep the pace up here, or the transitions need to be quicker, or remember that aid station, and just focus on that. So just dividing the course and setting like a small goals for each part.
Yeah, we found that to be really helpful, chunking it out into basically kind of thirds.
Yeah, exactly.
As well was helpful.
The big islands and
the big kind of running ones.
Mm-hmm.
We just kept going.
Yeah,
just keep going.
That's all you can do.
But Orno is I mean, if you're running, if you have been running a little bit more, my experience is that you're able to push a little bit harder on Orno, and there are some minutes to shop on that island if you're able to run.
Yeah, for sure. Now, so you've done the World Championship, several times now. Is this something you guys just going to keep doing it? You going to keep trying to qualify, or what does the future hold for you guys in terms of racing?
We actually qualified in Cannes, but we decided not to accept that spot this year. I've done it 5 times. You've done it 2 times.
Yeah, we will see.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
For now, I think we were so happy with the experience last year and the result, and we also know what it takes to in terms of training and and the puzzle with the family and work and all that. So we will just we'll see. We will see. We haven't really decided yet, but there are lots of other things that other swimrun races that seem interesting, and
we're hoping to go to France maybe during the spring to do one of the Swimrun Man series.
Oh yeah, those look really cool.
Yeah, they look great. So we'll see if we can afford that.
Yeah, we're looking into that. It seems it's quite spendy, but it looks like a fun experience and quite challenging too with the height and long swims and such.
That will be a different kind of race and a different challenge. So we're hoping to do that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice.
But I don't know. Some more races before summer and then we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like a super healthy attitude, right? It's like, and we actually heard that from several teams that did the World Championship last year. It's like, hey, they had a great race. They've done it several times. It's like, they felt like they're at peace. When we spoke with Andy Blow and Lars Fananger, team Old Man Speed was their name. They were like, yep, we don't feel like we have anything. We don't have anything left to prove.
After you do it once, I totally get why people answer it, because we asked the same question to a lot of people, and they all kind of give us the same "we'll see" sort of answer. But I totally understand it now. Like the draw of it is so intense, and you're like, I really want to get back there and do that. But then you're like, wow, the journey there is also really intense, and it's a lot of an investment. And I totally get why everyone says we'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, once you're in the bubble, like with the race briefing, it's such an amazing experience, and I'm just really happy that I've been in that position, and so
what the Low Tide Boys had on to boot, we were. It was so great to give you our last few that we brought over our hats.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's great.
So since it's Partners Month, what advice do you have for teams? And let's say doesn't have to necessarily be women's teams, mixed or men's or whatever. But what advice do you have? Like, it seems like you guys have, like, again, in the race, you're not communicating too much. You know what each other's doing, but in terms of sort of communicating your goals and what you're trying to achieve in the sport, what advice do you have for new teams coming together on how they can sort of make sure that they still have a positive experience while whether maybe they're trying to compete or just have an adventure?
Yeah.
It's important to agree if you want to have an adventure or if you want to compete. I think you need to have the same.
Yeah.
You need to want the same thing. Otherwise, you'll end up getting disappointed, I think, at each other. And the journey towards the race, that's the fun part, I think. to train a lot together if you have if you live close, to have the possibility to train together, to swim, to run, to do swim run sessions together. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even if you sort of have some agreements before racing, and the racing could bring out some personality, or being very competitive and things like that. So I think it's quite important to agree on that beforehand, what your goal is. You can be competitive, but also enjoy and have fun together. But I think we're quite competitive when racing, but we're also there to have fun.
Yeah, right. It's like you're competitive, but if something goes bad, it's like, oh, whatever.
And we even if we competed a lot together, we always ask that question. Oh, so this race, do we want to give it all we have, or do we just do it as a fun race, just to make sure that we're on the same level? And I think,
do you have that like right at the start line of the race, or you do that like the night before?
Are we going for it? I'm going for the kill today.
I think when we're on the start line, I think on every race I've told you I will do my best today, and you're like, yeah, me too.
It's really great that's a sort of a great perspective. You want to have strength in both of those muscles, right? Like the muscle to really charge ahead and give it all you got and really go for it, and then strengthen the muscle. That's also it doesn't need to be a 10 out of 10 every time, and you can go out there and take it from a different perspective. So it's good that you have both muscles going for yourself.
Yeah.
Important.
That's important. Absolutely.
And I think if you're racing with someone that you don't know as well, I think it could also be important to talk about what happens when you're really tired, or if you are hurting. What do you need then? Do you need me to be quiet, or do you need me to cheer on, or what do you want? And maybe if you have any hang-ups of your own that I wouldn't, if you were to complain a lot, I wouldn't handle that. So, what's important for me? And what's
you mean like
because I remember.
I mean, I think that's good. Like if someone was to race with Chipper, I'd have to warn them and be like, hey, so he might just start talking a lot. So that could mean a bunch of different things. So you just have to be prepared to just know that might happen.
Yeah. What's the Chipper manual look like, Chris?
Well, the Chipper manual is definitely a lot of like, I think when you're nervous, you talk a lot.
Yeah.
When you're happy, you talk a lot.
It's tough read,
those things are good to know,
So some of it is the subject matter of what you're talking about. But yeah, when you are feeling like you're bonky, that's usually when you stop talking. So to me, that's like, Chipper hasn't said anything in the last 10 seconds, so probably need to make sure he takes a gel or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Exaggerated,
I think some other agreements that we've talked about is if we want to not finish, to stop, in what sort of mood would you be, or in how much pain would that take for you to stop? And we've talked about that too. And I remember on ÖTILLÖ 2021, I was in quite a big pain, and I'd never really wanted to stop. I wanted to finish. So, and the same with you on Uta. I think we push the limit a little bit far, but also as a team, we know we can do it together. Like we push the limits. I'm not sure I'd do it on my own, but as a team, it's possible.
Right.
That's great. And that goes back to exactly what you said earlier about having the trust in your teammate. Obviously, you have a lot of that trust because you have a lot of repetition with each other, a lot of experience. But if the quicker you can sort of establish that trust with your partner, I think the better off you're going to have, and more of the swim run flow you're going to get to experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because, like, on the one hand, you know, I think you mentioned it, Marie. It's like you don't know if you do it by yourself, but when you're with a teammate, and that's really one of the beauties of Swimrun. If we're highlighting Partners Month, one of the reasons we like highlighting Partners Month is because that is sort of the magic of Swimrun is, and obviously there's solo divisions and all that stuff, but like the true spirit of Swimrun, it's a team sport, and you're really capable of doing more together than you are by yourself. Like, you're more than the sum of your parts when you're a team, so you're able to extract more because you're trying to take care of, like, I'm always looking out for Chipper. I'm trying to get the best out of Chipper. He's trying to get the best out of me. That's not something we need to talk about. It's just like, it's just part of the experience. And I think that, like, you guys really highlighted that when you're talking about it, because, you know, it's just like, I don't know. This doesn't need to turn to Swimrun Love Fest. This whole show,
it's too late.
You know, almost 200 episodes is a Swimrun Love Fest. But yeah, that team piece to me seems to me like the central and almost the most beautiful part of Swimrun. Is that something you guys would agree with?
Absolutely. I don't know. I hardly even do running races anymore because I tend to give up when Marie is not there.
No,
but I've done some solo swimruns as well. And when you get really tired and there's a hill and it's much closer to me to just, it doesn't really matter. I'll start walking here. But when you're in a team, you don't start walking until the other one says, I need to walk.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't
the other person says it. Like, the other person has to say it first, basically.
yeah.
I'm so glad you brought it up. I've been thinking about it for 10K. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's absolutely the team. The team spirit we have. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's fun. That's
it's more fun. You push each other more than you're able to do on your own, I think. And it's,
yeah, and you share the experience, like going back and talking about the race together with someone and finishing the race together is just experiencing something together. That's the beauty of Swimrun. Absolutely. I think so.
So let me ask you a final question. We've had you guys on for a while. So back at work, if there's any sort of team building activities, do you guys automatically partner up?
And do you have your tether?
If there's, do you have the tether in your desk drawer just in case it's required?
No, we've had some swimrun activities in our group, but
yeah.
Wow, are you guys hiring at all? I mean, this sounds like quite the company.
Yeah.
we work at upper secondary school. We're principals, and we're a part of our school is what do you call it? Löpet.
Like athletic division.
Yeah, we have
athletic director or something.
Yeah, so we have good facilities to use when training.
Yeah,
nice.
When training,
that sounds awesome.
After work, and we work close to next to the swimming pool as well. So
perfect.
Yeah,
nice situation.
Seriously though,
are
you guys hiring? I mean, we shouldn't be teaching anybody anything. That's for sure. But I don't think anyone wants us to be teaching, not even English. But
you should come over here. We'll invite you.
We'll do a little show and tell. Yeah. Annika, Marie, thank you guys so much for taking the time to join us for Partners Month. We're so great. We got a chance to chat with you when we met you at the World Champs. Finally, like, we didn't really get a chance to chat too much, so I'm glad that we made this happen and get to know you guys a little bit better. Best of luck this year. Maybe we'll see you at the World Championship. I'm not going to say no because I kind of know how this stuff goes. But yeah, thank you both so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was
and good
really
luck.
fun, and wish you the best of luck during the swimrun season.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that's it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave a review, since that's the best way to help other people discover the show and the sport of swimrun.
Sign up for a newsletter at lowtideboys.com. That's boys with a Z. And check out our meme page at the Low Tide Boys on Instagram. If you have any suggestions for the show or questions for us, send us a DM or an email at lowtideboys@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Riding Easy Records for our show music, and of course our wives for their support and tolerance of all our swimrun activities, podcast, and other stuff.
Yeah, other stuff.
Other stuff.
Way to keep it PG. Finally, you can support our efforts on Patreon. Until next time, get out there and go for a swim.
Go for a run.
Then another swim.
Then another run.
And then another swim.
And then another run.
And then just keep going. So you're done.
So you're done. Or maybe can't
And then
stop.
stop.